Hi, welcome to Stellar Yoga. I'm Estelle. Today's class is going to be a 60-minute yin practice. A yin practice is usually quiet and sustained and quite slow and gentle. So the intention is to give your body some time to ground and release. So we'll spend most of the time on the floor, either sitting or lying in some position, and we'll use a number of props. And we'll take sustained multi-minute holds in each position so that we can allow our body to gently relax into the position and let go of stress and tension that is being held there, and try to get into the deep level of relaxation. So I encourage you for this practice to find somewhere that is quiet and a bit cool if you like, and maybe dark. Perhaps you want to light a candle or have an eye mask nearby for some of the holds. And to do our practice, I will invite you to have either a bolster, like the one that I'm sitting on, a long pillow. You can use pillows from your bed or couch cushions for that. It doesn't have to be a yoga bolster, but that is always helpful. So you can have one or more pillows so that you're able to have some options when you're adjusting the support on your body and find what is most comfortable for you. And then I'll also encourage you to have blankets in case you want to have something to rest your head on, either your forehead or the back of your head when we're lying down, and perhaps a block to help bring the blanket up to a more comfortable position. And then also a block will be helpful in some of our final poses that we will lie on, a block to help open our chest. So for that, if you don't have a yoga block, you can use a stack of large books like dictionaries or phone books if you still have those around. You can also use a stack of pillows. So just get a bunch of cozy, comfy things that you can play around with to support yourself, and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to start today in a seated position with your legs crossed. You can be whichever leg is like your most comfortable one. And you can just sit in the middle of your mat and just close your eyes and notice where your body is touching the floor, where it's coming into contact with the earth. And you can rest your hands in your lap or on your knees, either palms facing up or palms facing down. And just start to notice your breath. Notice the quality and the length of your breath. And start to see if you can make your inhales and your exhales equal length. And take a moment to just check in with your body and how it feels today, without feeling the need to change anything about it, just noticing if there are places that feel tight or that feel sore or that feel neglected. And then when you're ready, you can either open your eyes or keep your eyes closed, but just bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. You can reach your left hand out so that your fingers are touching the ground if you like. And if it feels good, you can also use your right hand really gently on the top of your head to just gently encourage your ear a little closer to your right shoulder. And just take a couple of breaths here. And then if it would feel good for your neck, you can angle your chin down towards your hips so that you're getting a bit of a stretch along the back of the left side of your neck. And then when you're ready, bring your chin towards center and back up to look forward. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So you may need to give your neck a minute, but then when you feel ready, you can let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. You can reach your right hand out to the ground on the right side. And if you like, you can bring your left hand just gently to the top of your head to give a little more encouragement to your left ear to meet your left shoulder. Just inhale to any part that feels constricted or tight. And try to exhale and let go of any tension as you do so. And then if it would feel good for this side of your neck, you can bring your chin down, looking at your left hip so you're getting a stretch in the back right side of your neck. And when you're ready, you can bring your chin towards center and look forward again. And then we'll just take some gentle neck rolls, starting from the right with your right ear towards your right shoulder. And just on your own, in your own time, slowly rolling towards center, slowly making your way to the left, pausing there, and then from the left, slowly making your way towards center, and back over to the right. And then you can continue to do this, moving slowly towards center and over to the left. If it feels good, you can take your gaze backwards and complete the circle. Or if it doesn't feel good on your neck, you can just continue to go from side to side. If you've gone all the way around, make sure that you also take it back in the other direction, from right to left, and then back forward and coming through center. When you're ready, come all the way back to center with a tall spine, and on an inhale, lift your hands overhead. And on an exhale, bring your right hand to the floor and just bring your left hand overhead and take a side stretch towards the right. You don't have to reach any particular space. You just want to feel an opening and a stretch on your left side. And again, breathe into any parts that feel tight or sore or just like they need attention. And on your exhales, try to let go of any tension that you can. On your next inhale, come back up through center, both arms overhead. And exhale off to the left, with your left hand on the earth and your right hand overhead. Again, just finding some space on that right side of your body Just noticing where it is today. With each exhale, trying to let go of just a little bit of tension if you can. And then on your next inhale, bring both arms overhead again. And on your exhale, twist to the right, bringing your left hand to your right knee and your right hand out behind you. And this is just a gentle twist to whatever extent feels good in your body today. Staying up on your sits bones and keeping your spine nice and long. And then on your next inhale, bring both arms overhead again and twist off to the left, bringing your left hand behind you, your right hand to your left knee. Just gently awakening the little spaces in between your vertebrae. And then when you're ready, inhale back up to center and go ahead and set your hands down and then cross your legs the other way. So switch whichever leg is in front. And then we'll just take a few arm stretches. So go ahead and bring your right hand across your body and with your left hand or elbow, wrap the right arm and pull the right shoulder down so that you're getting a bit of a stretch in the back of your right shoulder and shoulder blade. And you can play around here a little bit with how you have your arm, the angle that you have it at, just to see what feels good on this side of your body today. And when you're ready, you can let that side go. You can bring your left arm across your body, holding on to your left elbow with your right hand or your right elbow, and then lowering your left shoulder away from your ear to find an opening in the back of that left shoulder. And again, you can play around with how that feels. And when you're ready, you can let that go. And then bring your right arm overhead. Bend your elbow so that your right hand is resting on the top of your upper back. And then you can take your left hand and just hold onto the elbow to make it a little deeper, to stretch the back of your right arm. And as you do this, make sure you keep your neck tall and supported so that you're not squishing it or bending it in order to get that stretch in the back of your right arm. And when you're ready again, you can let that arm fall, bring your left arm overhead, bend it to bring the left hand to the top of your back, and use your right hand to pull that elbow a little higher, finding a stretch in the back of your left arm. And then you can bring both arms down and interlace your hand behind the back of your hips and press your fists down towards the floor. just looking up for the moment and pressing them down behind you. And then if it would feel good, feel free to lift your interlaced fingers up behind you for a shoulder expansion and to fold forward any amount that feels good. Keeping your palms reaching towards each other and your fists pressing up and away. And when you're ready, you can let that go. Then we'll come over onto our hands and knees and just take 3 rounds of cat and cow. So just take this on your own breath. Inhaling and lifting your heart. And then taking the full length of the exhale to round your spine and lift the back of your heart up towards the sky. Taking the full length of the inhale to lift your heart and your sit bones. And the full length of your exhale again to round your spine. Let your head go. And then one last time. Inhaling, lifting your heart. And exhaling, rounding your spine. And then inhale, you can come back through center. And from here, go ahead and lie down on your stomach. And bring your hands into a capital T shape. And then bend your left arm to just put your hand under your left shoulder. And with your left foot, roll towards your right side and stamp your left foot down on the ground. So you're opening up the shoulder on your right side. And you can play around with exactly where your hand is resting to get a nice stretch in your shoulder. You can play around with where your foot is, the angle of your hips. If it would feel really good, and this is something that you can reach, you can take a quad stretch by bringing your left hand to your left ankle. But only do that if it feels good. And just breathe into your right shoulder. When you're ready, you can bring your left arm back down and roll back onto your stomach. And then go ahead and bend your right hand, roll to the left, bring your right foot to rest behind your left knee. And find an opening on the left front of your shoulder. If it feels good, you can take a quad stretch here by bringing your right hand to your right ankle and pulling that towards your right glute. And then when you're ready, can let everything go and roll back onto your stomach. From here, we're going to take your bolster. So you may want to come up to your hands and your knees for this. And we're going to take that same position lying down, but with the bolster underneath our hips. So you can come to hands and knees, place the bolster underneath, and then gently lower yourself onto the bolster, finding a place that feels comfortable for you. And then you may want to use your blanket as a pillow just to rest your forehead on when you're in this position. You can bring your hands to any position that's comfortable. So you can have them out in front of you. You can have them in a capital T, or you can bring them along your sides. So you may need to move around a little bit, find what feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, just come to stillness. Let all of your body just be supported by the earth that you're lying on. This is it can be a very comforting position. A lot of people feel in this position that it almost feels like being held. And we'll just take a couple minutes here. Start to bring a little movement to your fingers and toes to let your body know that you're about to move. And then bring your hands under your shoulders and gently lift yourself up back to your hands and knees. bring the bolster a little bit more forward. And from here, we're going to take a supported pigeon position. So leaving your left knee on the ground, bring your right foot in front of the bolster so that your ankle and your knee are parallel with the bolster. And then slowly walk your left knee back so that your right hip is fully supported by the bolster. And from here, you can just gently put your hands in front of your right leg and you can fold forward if that feels good. You can keep your arms extended if that feels better. If you want to stack a pillow or some blankets or a block and some blankets, you can do that so that you have some support for your head. And again here, just notice which parts feel like they would benefit from a little bit of space, and try to breathe into those spaces. And when you exhale, see if you can let go of something. Because we hold these positions for a longer time in yin or restorative yoga, you want to make sure that you're not in any discomfort and that you feel really supported by the positions, and so you're not stretching your muscles or finding too much discomfort in them. You just want to feel supported so that as we hold this, you're able to let go of tension and emotions and stress that we tend to keep held in our muscles, so that we can reach layers of relaxation in our body that our muscles don't usually get to access. And the hips are one area in particular where a lot of people hold tension or emotions or stress. So as you rest here, try to ensure that you feel supported and comfortable. And as you exhale, see if you can let go of a little bit more each time. When you're ready, you can gently lift your head and walk your hands back towards your leg to rise up. And you may want to put your hands on the bolster in order to lift your right leg up and come back to kneeling. And just notice how that feels. And notice if there's a difference between your right and your left legs. And then when you're ready, we'll take the other side, so stepping the left foot forward, bringing it parallel to the top of your mat, parallel to your bolster, and then walking your right knee back so that your left hip is fully supported by the bolster. And then you can support yourself on with straight arms. You can create a little pile of pillows and you can fold forward and rest your head on that. And that can be as high as you need it to be. And this side may feel different from the other side. It's very common that we're not symmetrical beings and things feel different on different sides. You can try to arrange yourself so that you feel supported as we stay here for a couple minutes. And once you find an arrangement that feels good and supported for your body on this side, try to just focus on your breath, being here in this moment. And using every exhale as an opportunity to let go of something that you want to let go of. When you're ready, you can start wiggling your fingers, letting your body know you're about to move. And slowly walk your hands up. Press up and come back into all fours, maybe with your hand on the bolster. And then just notice how your hips feel in this position now, having done both sides. From here, we're going to take a supported child's pose. So go ahead and sit back on your heels with your toes together. You can bring your knees wide. And then adjust your bolster so that it's long ways with the very short end between your thighs. And again, you may want to have a support for your head at the far end of the bolster. So it may take a little bit of adjustment, but go ahead and, when you're ready, lie down the long length of the bolster. And as you feel comfortable, you can have your arms down alongside your legs, or you can have them stretched out in front of you. And once you find the arrangement of props that feels good to you, go ahead and release into the earth, letting it support you. And letting it nurture you in this position. And see if with each exhale you can find a little something to let go. Take a few more breaths in this position. And then slowly, as you're ready, you can walk your hands under your shoulders and slowly lift yourself up to sitting. So move your bolster off to the side of your mat. Come to sit on your sit bones in a wide-legged seat. You don't have to have your legs super wide apart, just a comfortable distance where you can still sit up on your sit bones. And then take your bolster on the tiny end and stand it up and angle it a little bit away from you so that you can rest your forehead while you're still sitting up. In this position, you can lean forward a little bit and rest your forehead on the bolster. And you can bring your hands out in front to help support you. And just find a wide-legged seated position with your head fully supported on the small end of the bolster. And notice in this position what parts of your body are in contact with the earth. And where you feel the earth rising up to support you. Take one more breath here. You can start to awaken your toes. And when you're ready, let the bolster go and slowly rise up. So from here, we're going to take legs up the wall with the bolster under our hips for support. If you don't have a wall accessible, you can absolutely do this in the middle of the room by sitting on the bolster and then letting your legs rise up. Otherwise, if you have a wall available, put the bolster right up against the wall. Sit sideways against the wall, so your left or your right side is right up against the wall as close as possible, and you're sitting on the bolster. And then gently and carefully roll towards your back, letting your feet come up the wall, letting your hips be fully supported by the bolster, and then gently lowering onto your elbows and all the way to your back. And then you may need a little bit of adjustment to pull the bolster so that it's completely under your hips and supporting your full pelvis. And then just let your legs relax. Leave your arms in a comfortable position. And let the gravity work on your legs and your feet. Noticing where your body is in contact with the earth and feeling that solid support under your hips and your low back. This is a very gentle inversion. So your head is just slightly below your heart. And your heart is having to work a little less hard. So this is a very gentle way to support your heart. And as we lie here for the next couple minutes, again, see if on each breath there's a place where you can surrender a little bit. Gently start to wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath. And then you can gently walk your feet down the wall. Roll off to one side. And slowly bring yourself up to sitting and back to the mat. When you return to the mat, we're going to come onto our backs. So go ahead and bring your bolster underneath your knees. You can also use a pillow here if you want to wrap yourself up so you don't get cold. And then using a block or a pile of pillows and blankets, you can take a fish position. So putting the block just under your scapula and slowly lowering yourself down. So that the block is between your shoulder blades. And letting your shoulders fall open. You can bring also a blanket or a pillow underneath your head so that that is supported if that feels like too much. And just let your shoulders drape open. And again, it might take a little adjustment to figure out the right spot for you. So feel free to make any changes so that you feel comfortable lowering the stack of pillows or the block to whatever height feels comfortable and finding the right spot in your back. And then just let your shoulders cascade down towards the floor. Whenever this feels like enough for you, you can go ahead and bring the weight into your elbows to just lift your back up a little bit, enough to slide the block out. Come all the way down to lie in your back and find Shavasana. I will invite you to stay in your Shavasana as long as feels good for you today. And when you are ready to come out of it, please do so very gently and slowly. As you go forward with the rest of the day, I hope you can continue to find a little bit of peace and that you have compassion and love for yourself, and that you can express gratitude and appreciation for taking this time to come to your mat and care for yourself. Thank you for practicing with me today.